Dear viewers, you are all welcome to a new edition, new version, new episode from ECHO events from Sudanese platform ECHO. We have accustomed to go over many topics in Sudan, the most important as we think, and this week we are going to tackle three topics. The first one is the victories of the armed forces and the supporting armies in the west of Sudan. There is many victories this week in North Kordofan, West Kordofan, and also in the area of the South Kordofan. These victories is not coming as a result of accident, but it is a very high effort employed by the armed forces, and they are said in many speeches that the battle of the dignity will go over till the liberation of all the territory of Sudan. General Yasser al-Atta, in his speech with the armed forces in last week, he said that the battle of dignity will follow its efforts and liberate all territory of Sudan. Also, General Burhan, in last Friday in the mosque, he assisted on the achievements of the armed forces. Nowadays, the rebels are completely deteriorated morally and militarily in the field as a result of these efforts. They began to show and to deploy some media and to say that they are having a victory in some areas and accusing the armed forces that using chemical arms, and all these allegations have been completely denied by the armed forces and by many things. Even the United States of America, as they said that and have punished Sudan by the economic sanctions under this umbrella. They have no any evidence, and even the committee which have been asked to go over in the field and to have an investigation about this chemical arm, they did not find this. General Burhan, this victory, have paid a very good visit to Jabrat al-Sheikh and Sayala. These areas have been also liberated by the armed forces. The importance of this victory is to open way and road. The exportation products road have been opened, and this will join all areas of North Kordofan and South Kordofan and even the west, and also until to Al-Ubayd and Durman. This have been one of the achievements which is very important because it will go over in order to cut the way of the subvention which come to the rebel from outside, from the west of Sudan. So the armed forces is going to follow its victory until the liberation of all Sudan. The second topic of this week is the visit of the envoy of the President of the Republic of South Sudan for the Security Department, Tud Gulwak, who is coming last week to Sudan, and also met Dr. Kamil Idris, Prime Minister, and before him, he met General Al-Burhan. This visit, I think, it is also important from its time, in part, and the issues discussed during these two meetings. The government of the South Sudan is preparing now for an elections. And as it comes in the media, there is circumstances which be around this to consider ABA as one of the department of these presidential elections. This problem is considered as a violation of all agreements with Sudan. So it is one of the topics which have been raised by Salva Kiir Mayardit through the envoyé to say that this cannot be implemented in the wise. The second issue is the questions of the petrol. As we know, the agreement between Sudan and South Sudan from the transferring of petrol through the area, through the territory of Sudan. And it will consider as very important factor of the economic. So they want to assure that this can be go over without any troubles. This cannot be unless there is an agreement between Sudan and Southern Sudan, and also to keep the mutual interest between the two countries. The government of South Sudan, although there is a pressure from outside, but their interest with Sudan is very far, as it is a territory area with Sudan, and there is a mutual interest, and also there is many things to be considered during these relations. The second topic of this also, which have been held by Golwak, is the questions of the rebel, and they are going now to cover and to see what happened really in the battle of dignity and the failures of this rebel in the area, and the support which can be found by the South Sudan government must be stopped. There is a meeting of the government of the South Sudan with the people who are now involved in many things in West Kordofan, and also the rebel who find the port from South Sudan, and this must be stopped. Golwak have affirmed that the government of South Sudan has no relation to support this rebel, but there is some opposition inside the Republic of South Sudan who are supporting the rebel. I think such declaration and such recognition can be go further, because the President of the Republic of South Sudan knows how the importance of to keep security between Sudan and his country, and also to keep security in the borders between the two countries. The visit, I think, till now, it has no result in the field, but during the coming week, we can see to what extent that the Republic of South Sudan consider really it is interest and keep a good relation with the government of Sudan. The third topic is the question of the voluntary return to Sudan and what happened lately in Cairo, in Egypt, regarding the documents, the urgent documents, which help the Sudanese people to go to Sudan. Fortunately, the Ministry of Interior take this question as very important in coordination with the Committee of the Hope, and they are facilitate this and give the green light for the embassy here in Cairo to give all Sudanese who are going, who wants to return back to Sudan, a voluntary visa free with no any financial cost. I think it is very important to join between two things in this question. One of them is to keep the security and to observe those who are enter Sudan during this war, because the Ministry of Interior have the responsibility to control all the borders and also to check everyone who enters Sudan that he is a Sudanese people and not one of the foreigners who are making troubles during this war. And the second thing must be taken in the other part, that to facilitate the voluntary return to people who are going to join the Committee of the Hope and to go to Sudan. These are very important, and the coordination between this committee and the Ministry of Interior and the Embassy of Sudan in Cairo have given a very good fruit to reinforce these efforts and to facilitate for all people in Sudan, the refugees, to come back to their country. Dear viewers, this is the end of our episode for this week. We are going to see you in the coming week. Thank you for following us, and goodbye.